This video is on how to do a diagonal. For this project, you'll need two different colors. I'm gonna have blue and I'm gonna have purple. So for this, I also plan on having my diagonal go this direction. What I need to do to start with is I always like to give my diagonal a nice solid base, so I'm gonna weave all the way across. Now this is not something that you have to do, but it's always helpful. And if you're just starting out, it's probably gonna give you a leg up in the long run. So I'm gonna push that down. Once again, I'm starting a new color, so I have to do a weaver's knot. I'm gonna unweave, go through to the back, wrap around, there we go. Now my purple needs to come back. So I'm gonna weave all the way back. Make sure that you're keeping up the pattern of over, under, and it's opposite of the row before. That way, none of your warp shows through, and as we all know, warp showing through is a no-no. So, I have woven my purple all the way across. Now for this, there are two different ways to do it. You could have your two colors meet and separate and meet and separate. That way is easier once you have the basics down. So I'm just going to show you the easiest way, which is you're going to build up one part of your diagonal and then fill in the rest. So for this, I am going to go weave to right about here. I typically give myself 4 strings, that way the other color has plenty of space to get started. I'm going to weave over, I'm going to push down. Sorry about knocking the camera there. Now I am going to treat this like it's the end of my warp. So I'm going to just turn around, make sure I include that string right there, and I'm just going to head back. All right, going all the way across. Now you definitely want to make sure that you don't pull too tight, because if you pull too tight, you're going to end up with this random hole in the middle of your weaving, which is going to look extremely odd, so you don't want that. I'm going to push it all the way down. Now this time, instead of losing 4 strings, I'm going to lose 5 strings on my end. So essentially you're going to lose 1 more string each time. I'm going to weave over, make sure not to pull too tight, push down, and then I'm going to weave back. Now I'm making sure that I don't include this string right here, so because like I said, you lose a string each time. I like to kind of relate this to like when you're building pyramids with Legos. You lose a step each time. It kind of ends up looking like a step pyramid, which will all smooth out when you're done, because that's the great thing about yarn, is that it tends to puff up and fill in the gaps that you make. Alright, so I fast forwarded a little bit, but you can see that I've got a nice little step pyramid going on right here that's going to create my diagonal. Now, for the light blue, to fill in this space right here, because you're kind of thinking of it like it goes straight across like that, you need to weave and meet where that purple is and then go back. So this purple stopped right there, you can see. So I'm going to weave to that point, then I'm going to turn around and go back. So if you just lost 1 string each time, it's going to be pretty easy, because now I'm just going to gain a string each time. So this time I'm weaving through 5 strings. Oh, made a little bit of mistake right there. That's easy enough to fix. You can always unweave if you notice a mistake. Make sure you're pushing it down nice and tight. And so now for this one, I'm going over 7. No, 6 this time I'm looking. Gonna go back. So you just keep adding 1 string each time until you have filled in your space. So it looks like that's where I stopped with my purple. So you can kind of see I've started my diagonal there, and you would just keep doing that. Now this could go over and back, but you always have to build like what I like to call the base first, which is the part that leaves opening. So that's the part, the side that loses string. So I could have this go all the way across, I could go over and back a few times, but essentially you are just kind of meeting and separating in a nice diagonal pattern.